Chief Gerald Smith, Richmond Police Department. We're here to go over an officer-involved shooting that took place last night. Before we start, just know that we are still in the early stages of this investigation, and it's ongoing and still fluid. But at 3:26 a.m., officers observed a vehicle driving recklessly at a high rate of speed. Officers were behind this vehicle as it headed south on Interstate 95 and exited at the Maury Street exit. Officers came upon the vehicle as it at the bottom of the exit after it had crashed, and observed the suspect, who were believed to be the sole occupant of the vehicle. They attempted to engage him. The suspect fled the vehicle at the intersection of Commerce and Stockton. He entered into the community of the Towns at Riverside 1 and 2 apartment complex. As the officers attempted to engage him, the driver entered a nearby breezeway in the apartment complex. There was an exchange of gunfire between the driver and an officer. Both sustained gunshot wounds and were taken to a local hospital to be treated. The officer has sustained non-life-threatening injuries, while the suspect has sustained life-threatening injuries. The suspect's name is Dakari Reinhardt, and he is being held currently on warrants out of Richmond for capias, warrants from Richmond for misdemeanor failure to appear, a warrant from Chesterfield for felony eluding police, and one from Henrico for misdemeanor capias. There will be other charges pending as this investigation continues and comes to a conclusion for his actions involving this case. As all officer-involved shootings, the department is conducting a thorough investigation into this incident. It is very fluid and ongoing. We're asking that anyone with any information about this case, please give Major Crimes Detective a call. Detective Cresswell. His phone number is 804-646-5324. That's 646-5324, or contact Crime Stoppers at 804-780-1000. Once again, this investigation is ongoing and fluid. Our hearts and minds go out to everyone involved, and we would like to thank all the detectives and officers who responded to this scene for their tireless work in keeping our city safe. We can't overstate the partnership that we have with our community in helping to keep the city safe. So I'll take a few questions at this time. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Macy Moores with NBC 12. Who shot first?
We do not know. We have reviewed the body-worn camera. We have to determine that. And not all interviews have been conducted. That's why it's ongoing. So we don't know.
How long does that take?
One second.
No, go ahead.
Do you know what led to the exchange of gunfire? Specifically, was it someone pointing a gun? Is the suspect at the officer?
We have not spoken to the officer yet, for the officer is under medical treatment at this time, but we will speak to the officer. So anything that I say now would be complete speculation. But in typical situations like that, officers react to an active threat. Okay?
Chief, you mentioned that he first was encountered on 95, correct? When he was driving?
Reckless and speeding, yes.
Okay. Can you categorize even like how long that kind of engagement was on the interstate before the exit and the crash?
We have not timed it at this time. Okay.
Chief, did the officer who was it a pursuit? I'm sorry, pardon me, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just asking about the I-95 encounter. Was that a pursuit per se?
No, it was not a pursuit. We have had our crash people take a look at it. It is not a pursuit, and there's no indication that they were blue lighting and sirening the individual. So we have to go back and see what we can look at to see exactly what took place, but right now we're sure that it wasn't a pursuit at this time, technically as a pursuit. Okay?
Listening to audio from first responders who were responding to this scene, they noted that police were pursuing a vehicle, as you said, that may have been hit by a bullet. Can you explain any of those events leading up to what turned into that officer-involved shooting, and could that have been the reason for the crash?
I have no information on that particular incident or how it plays into this. I just know that our officers were behind a vehicle that was driving recklessly and speeding, and that's what brought their attention to it.
Do you have an update on the condition of either the officer? I know you said he's undergoing medical treatment, either the officer or
his injuries are non-life-threatening at this time, and he's being cared for by his wife and family, and of course other officers as well too. So he will be on a long haul to recovery, and we'll be there with him. As far as the suspect is concerned, he is in ICU, I believe, and he is still life-threatening at this time.
Are they both still in the hospital then, or the officer is not?
Yeah, they're going to be a long haul this time, so, both of them,
Do you
okay?
know how many shots were fired?
Not at this time, not at this time. Did you have a follow-up question, ma'am?
I have a different question. How old is this driver, can you say?
20 years old,
20 years old.
20.
And Chief, do you mind spelling his name, just in case?
Okay. First name is D-A-K-A-R-I. His last name Reinhardt, R-E-I-N-H-A-R-D-T.
And I know you said charges pending. I mean, is there anything that you guys have brought forth at this point in the investigation, or is that all kind of up in the air?
No, he's just being held on warrants and things that he had previously at this time, but our detectives are working, and then those charges, once they are completed and filed, we will let everyone know. We'll put that out. Okay.
We're hearing that the suspect was shot in the chest and that the officer was shot in the leg. Can you confirm that?
Yes, somewhere in the upper area here is where he was, in his upper torso, I can say for sure. The officer himself was shot somewhere around his hip area. Okay.
I know you said very few details at this time. Can you kind of just walk the public through exactly what the next steps will be to determine how many shots were fired, who fired first, that sort of
Well,
situation?
a lot of things, a lot of things. And the evidence that our forensic unit has collected on the scene will be taken and investigated and reviewed. Our detectives will continue their investigation, hopefully with the help of the public. If anyone has anything to come forward, that's always a plus. They will be interviewing those who are involved who have yet to be interviewed, and then they will be taking that and presenting that information to, more than likely, to the Commonwealth Attorney. So it is not a quick process, but it is a very thorough process that they will be conducting.
And I'm guessing, and I'm sorry if you mentioned earlier, the officer's on leave while he's recovering or while the investigation goes on. I know that's usually a typical one case like that.
Yeah, they will be on paid administrative leave.
Oh,
There was, assuming multiple officers, because you said officers who were following that vehicle, did they both engage the suspect and only one ended up firing their weapon, or did one, not leave? their
One
vehicle?
fired their weapon. They both engaged the suspect.
Chief, was there any contraband found in the suspect's car?
Not that I know of. I have not asked that question. Not
Do
that
we
I've
know-
asked that question. But we did recover a handgun on the scene.
Has it been determined why the suspect was going so fast?
We hope to determine that once we get a chance to interview him. He's the one who has to answer those questions. Those were his decisions. So hopefully he will be forthright and let us know.
And the suspect, is he from Richmond?
Don't know. I don't know. Being from Richmond could be relative, but it doesn't say on my paper exactly where his residence is. Or, yeah, I don't have that.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Some more questions? Thank
do
you.
you mind?
I see some popping up. I'm going to go because
Go ahead.
she hasn't asked a question.
Well, this is actually on a different matter, but Major Armstead told the RHA that Operation Red Ball has led to 182 felony arrests and 136 misdemeanor arrests since November. Do you have a comment on that? Can you confirm those numbers?
I would have to confirm those numbers, but I do know that the work that Operation Red Ball has put in is just phenomenal work. They are, to put it bluntly, they are going after those who are pulling triggers, and they're doing a phenomenal job of it. And Major Armstead is in the back of the room, and he can entertain some questions for you about that in more detail. Okay? Yeah.
Real quick, are incidents like this common for this neighborhood?
I have not checked that at all. Police-involved shootings are relatively rare, and the number depends upon the municipality. We don't have very many here in the Richmond area, okay? So incidents like this, it all depends on the municipality. Yeah.
And typical media, off-topic question again. Obviously, the release over the weekend of the body-worn camera from the Lee incident back in 2020. I wonder if RPD can offer any comment on now that's available to the public, everyone to see, that sort of thing.
I don't have any comment on it right now, but if you have a specific question, we'll be more than happy to entertain exactly what that would be in reference to that. Okay? Anything else? Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chief.
My pleasure.